Alright guys, welcome to the Challenger Series Cup Blue number 1. I feel like those words need to be in a slightly different order from each other. We'll figure it out in post. My name is Canafit, joined by dealers today for your first taste of the 3 upcoming iOS tournaments over the course of this weekend. Dealers, we don't just have this Challenger Series Cup now, but tomorrow we'll have back-to-back monthly finals as well of Modern Combat 5 action.
Yeah, we will indeed do Canafit, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But Canafit, what do we have going on today?
Well, we have got 12 of the finest teams playing, as you can see. We've got Score Gaming coming in as our number 1 seed. We saw them make it all the way through to the finals of the PC Cup just a little while ago, earlier on this evening. But there's plenty of other teams as well taking to the field to mix things up just a little bit.
Yeah, well, starting up from, nearly the top, Eternal Revenge versus Unretired. Eternal Revenge coming in from, I believe that is Japan. Going up against Unretired from the United States. Below them, it is VA Spirit and SimClan Japan versus apparently North Korea. I'm not quite sure that you're, did you have any internet in North Korea? But
I think it's a thing. I don't know. Players, well, teams have been around the place, as we said before when this team came up.
Yeah.
People can say they're from wherever.
Yeah, well, we've seen teams from South Korea, might as well see them from North Korea as well. Well, anyways, coming in as our 4th seed is going to be Wild Cards, then 3rd seed is going to be Great Clan. Rounding out things, Old Glory versus Into the Wild, yet more Japanese teams really coming in hot this tournament. And below them it's going to be Craze Gaming versus Fortuna 50. Craze Gaming as well from Japan and Fortuna 50 from the Netherlands, with Impossible Missions Forge coming in as our 2nd highest seed, and they are representing the South Korea.
Our first feature match will be Into the Wild versus Old Glory, and I believe we've got that first lobby up
We do
already. We'll be heading into streets to open today's competition. For any of you guys who are joining us for the first time, we'll be running through the whole bracket today, so from the round of 16 all the way to the grand final in best of 3 competition, up until the grand final itself, where it goes to best of 5, and we will determine ourselves our winner. Now, Deedless, a little test for you. Can you remember? Because you like doing this to me. Can you remember?
Probably not.
What it is that's on the line for the team that makes it all the way to the very end of the tournament and takes that number 1 crown?
$100.
$100 dingoes.
Yeah, $100 and go for points. Seeing as we are in a cup that is good for Asian and American teams. Well, I say American teams, South American and North American teams, of course the continent of America, they will be fighting for dollars. Then when we are in the red cups, it is euros.
Ah, well, yes, the great divide between the 2 places does allow for some good variety. I mean, certainly you wouldn't necessarily expect Italian teams to be part of this tournament as well, but you know, we see a lot of the same faces again and again. But just to touch back on what you mentioned before, Dealers, I understand what dollary dingoes are because you can exchange those for goods and services, but what is these go 4 points, or I guess possibly they've got a different name now?
Yeah, well, go 4 points. You need to collect that in order to get into the monthly finals. So if you go to, let's say, I feel like if you go to the monthly final page, then you should probably be able to see. Okay, you're not. I feel like if you. Oh, there we go. If you go to the part of the MC5 Blue Cups, then you can under that see the monthly final ranking. So you can see which team has the most amount of points. Right now, since we're heading into the May finals, it is Impossible Missions Force with 250 points. Below them, it's Oblivious Allies with 220. So for these teams, in order to gather as many points as possible, you obviously want to play in as many tournaments and place as highly in those tournaments as well. And I'm talking about the weekly tournaments. Then when you get into the monthly final, you're going to be fighting for the lion's share of $500. And that all concludes tomorrow. For now, however, we're heading into a weekly tournament, guys, and we have our first game on the way. It is going to be Sweet's Old Glory versus Into the Wild.
So you said lots of Japanese teams taking to the field here today. You said this is, I think it's the only opening round where one of our, I think, 4 different Japanese teams will be playing directly against one another. Both these teams, I think, I've got some pretty serious heavy hitters on them, so it should be a promising opening round match.
To correct your counterfeit, it is 5 Japanese teams, it's not 4,
Wow.
so the Japanese, they're coming out hot here tonight, and, well, you know what, in this game they're also coming out pretty hot. It's going crazy Into the Wild, and Old Gens picking up 6 kills already within the first 30 seconds, so they're really just fighting each other all over the place, and being quite bloodthirsty.
Yeah, not wasting any time at all. Let's take a look and see. So we've got multiple members of the Old Gen teams with 2 kills to their name so far. Into the Wild, suffering a little bit in the early going. We can see that they're trying to develop a defensive line just outside of the center. Shanji, the front of that line, but when they're this far behind already, it feels like a very dangerous proposition.
When you look at Into the Wild and you look at their past, they have been quite swinging. They have placed in the semifinals, they placed lower than the semifinals as well. So for this team, they kinda swing between good days and bad days. But then you look over at Old Gens, and what immediately pops to mind, at least for me, is Kiri and Rai. These 2 guys, obviously, they know how to play MC5. As a part of Rockstars, they have so much experience, and apparently it's working out for them, because right now, they're leading the way forward for Old Gens.
Old Gens is pretty bold. They're heading out onto the opening round. We see a lot of teams trying to maintain a position right in the center of the map, but they seem to be more than willing to let Into the Wild meet them on equal terms, to have the fighting right out there in the field. But the Old Gens are still dominating.
Yeah, they definitely are. Now with a 10 kill lead counterfeit, it's going to be so hard for Into the Wild to make this comeback happen. Old Gens overall, they're just completely controlling the center of the map. You can see that right on the minimap, how they are just controlling that middle settlement, and it means that Into the Wild, they're gonna have to breach open that, but it's very hard to do so when there's a lot of mobility in the MC5, and grenades are not going to be the thing allowing you to gain completely control over that settlement. You can't flush Old Gens out.
Desperation definitely setting in for Into the Wild, as I think they maybe weren't expecting to have quite as fierce an opening round opponent, but that's sometimes just the way these tournament goes. Somebody has to play against these brutal teams, but we've seen Shanji personally get through some pretty far through the tournaments. So I'm surprised to see this be as one-sided as it's turned out to be.
Yeah, well, again, like, talking about the past of Into the Wild, it should be them looking a bit stronger, at least putting up more of a fight against Old Gens. But Old Gens, they have acquired Kiri and Rai, and those 2 guys, they are veterans here in the blue MC5 scene, and they have all that experience that is necessary to lead a squad of rookies very far. And right now, they have led them to a 14 kill lead, and a very dominating performance in the first round of this cup.
There's not too much more left to say, I think, in this first round. Of course, we've got a pretty sizable tournament today, so if Old Gens continue their current path, they certainly set themselves up pretty darn well as one of the teams to watch. Whichever team does win out this series will go on to face against the Italian Great Clan number 3 seed, who are waiting in the quarterfinal. I have to imagine they're watching this game with great interest, because Old Gens, they've wasted very little time in this opening game.
You also have to say that Old Gens, they're not showing too much of their strategy. Right now, they're just running and gunning, and they are not exactly showing how they play as a team, because it feels like they're not playing as a team and they're just winning up mechanically in these small trades. And obviously, that is the way to play MC5, but as a team having to face old gens, it's not like you can say, okay, the way to deal with these small skirmishes is to do more small skirmishes. It's to play more as a team, and that should always be the case for a team here in the MC5 scene.
There we have it. 18 kills ahead are the old gens, looking incredibly dominant in this opening bout. You can see already in the chat that the old gens have, if they hadn't already, acquired more than a few fans to go forward. Let's take a look at the numbers as they played out. Kiri doing some real nice stuff, but as well, we must not forget about Fold. But over on the side of Into the Wild, their bright spot was Sakai. Had one of the stronger performances in the whole game.
10-4, that's quite good for him, and definitely a shining light for his team to go to move forward into the next match. But with that being said, having teams players drag you down with a 7-16 performance is something that needs to be shaping up for the next game.
Alright guys, stay tuned for we shall return the Challenger Series Cup Blue flavor. My favorite. I love you red guys too. We'll be returning in 7 minutes or less.
Do you love me as well?
Now. Welcome back, one and all. Our opening round of 16 competition between Old Gens and Into the Wild, the two Japanese teams of the 5 playing here today. Thanks for catching that stray team, Dealers. But we'll be down to
you're
just
welcome.
4 at most by the time this is done.
Yeah, well, there is going to be one team knocked out here between Old Glory and Into the Wild, and so far Into the Wild looking like the lesser team between Old Gens and themselves. But now, obviously, we are on one of my favorite maps. It is going to be rooftops, and there's a lot of ways you can play rooftops. You can have a lot of snipers, and then you can just play from the top, where you control the actual rooftops and then just shoot down through the openings in the roof. Or you can play fast and aggressive and push up towards the rooftops or down into the basement. And right now, Into the Wild, they are being happy with just a slow game where they control the basement and wait for Old Gens to come to them. Because Old Gens, they're waiting on top and they're not looking down through the openings in the roof.
Yes, it's a bit of a standoff here between the two teams as they both consider their positions. Last time round, we praised Sakai for, I think, doing what perhaps needed to be done, which was staying around the outside of the fight and picking off kills. We're ending out with them being the only member of the Into the Wild squad who had a respectable KDA. Zhangji, we've seen before, pull off some incredible stuff, but took an enormous amount of deaths in the previous time round. And maybe we might see something change a little bit, but right, oh my gosh, tears through absolutely everybody like paper.
Whoa, Rai coming in there and picking up so many kills, and the rest of his team just continues on. Rai will go down, same goes with Makoto, but Sarah comes in and immediately gets that revenge. And now Old Gens, they're the ones controlling the bottom side. They are just spawn camping Into the Wild, but it's not working out because Into the Wild, they're respawning faster than Old Gens. They can kill them, and suddenly the game is back to an even state.
Yeah, not at all what I expected. All credit to Into the Wild for holding their nerve. One game from being knocked out of the tournament. When the aggression starts to come in from Old Gens, it's where Into the Wild are tested, and perhaps from this testing we shall see a little bit more of what the team is capable of. It did not feel like they had any handle on how to best approach the streets, but this time around perhaps slow and steady is going to win them this race.
Well, as long as Into the Wild, they have that lead. Now they can play slow. They don't have to go aggressively against Old Gens, and right now they're just pulling away. But Old Gens, I love what they're doing, continually putting pressure onto the Into the Wild, pushing in, making sure to take the fight to Into the Wild and not give them a breather. Is it working out? Not really so far, but at least it means that at some point Into the Wild is gonna make a misstep, and that could give Old Gens the opening that they need.
The brutal corridor fighting still keeps Into the Wild looking pretty healthy right now. The Bramson, certainly a very sensible choice, along with the shotguns that we're seeing the Old Gens deploying for themselves. The short-range firepower, when it comes to the downstairs of rooftops, can be devastating.
But 2 kills is all. Into the Wild, they have to really talk about. They're not that far ahead anymore. Old Gens, they equalize the score right there. Lime looking to get a kill right here onto one of the Old Gens members. Will he be able to do so? No, he runs into 2 of them and immediately goes down.
3 minutes left to play. Into the Wild doing dramatically better than last time round, but a close loss, a distant loss, it's all a loss in the end, and Into the Wild cannot afford to take any more. Let's see, so Lime is the one, Sakai we were praising last time round is actually at the bottom of the score, but it's Lime who's really stepped up for the team, managing to take the 1v2 this time round.
Looking so good for the 2 teams here, and I love that they're not giving up and that they continue to fight. But Counterfeit, at some point this game is going to break open and one of the teams are just going to pull themselves very far ahead. Right now, Old Gens making sure to not give Into the Wild a lead at all, and they're actually starting to develop one for themselves. Looking at the scoreboard, you have 12 kills coming in from the top fragger from Old Gens, 10 kills from Into the Wild. So these 2 guys, these 2 teams, they have the top fraggers working for them, but Old Gens, They're looking like the best team, and they are developing this lead right here and right now. And 2 minutes and 5 seconds left to go into the wild. Canada allowed them to get a lead at any point.
It's always tricky to tell what the teams are doing on the rooftops because of the top-down map. You know, the multiple levels at play, so we have to keep track visually of what the teams are doing. Right now, Fold is controlling the space with a bit of backup into the wild, starting to drop further behind as the corridors are taken over. The turrets coming down as well. Going to be problematic when it comes to these face-to-face fights.
7 more kills and then all gens will be done for Into the Wild. They need a bit more. That is going to be 11 for them. Fold coming in here with a big gun and just spraying down whoever comes into his side. Will get 2 kills, I feel like, with that gun. Looking extremely good. Spraying and praying, but he is landing those shots now. 2 more for all gens and this series will be over. They're going to be meeting up with a Great Clan in that quarterfinal.
Well, there we go. It's by a much smaller margin than before, but Old Gens, they make it happen. They've got that straight 2-0. They give themselves their best momentum heading up against the Great Clan. And honestly, yeah, we're pointing out Fold there, using that Shred LMG, that big old machine gun, which a huge clip just gets more and more accurate as it fires, and was extremely rewarding. Not actually the most kills in the game. That was given across to Shanji, who, again, we said, this is the player we expect to do really well. In that game, did do really well, and that was nearly enough for Into the Wild to come back.
Yeah, well, they looked much better than in the first game. But unfortunately, their tournament run will end here in our first round, in the round of 16. So they are gonna have to try again next week, as it is going to be into the Old Glory rather, moving into the quarterfinal, taking a fight against Great Clan.
So while we wait for our next ESL encounter to come to us, we're gonna set up our first community game of the day. So, as you guys would expect, it's gonna be on the streets, a free-for-all. Tier 7 and below weapons, Tier 3 and below armor. Passkey ESL 123 or the global chat invite, both will get you into the game and on to the stream. We hope that you'll come and join us and show off your skills.
Yeah, well, show us how to play MC5. Give us some tips and tricks. Show us that you are good enough to play against some of the teams participating in the tournaments.
Yeah, we do get ESL players turning up in these custom games when they are between rounds to try and make sure they keep their reflexes sharp. Especially if we've got the teams which got the bye through to the quarterfinals. Score Gaming Wildcards, Great Clan we mentioned before, and the Korean Impossible Missions Force, who are waiting as our number 2 seed. All these teams, they've got to wait through that first round. The bye is kind of a blessing and a curse because you're ready to begin a tournament, and then suddenly you're told, you've got to wait a while for your first match. And perhaps during that time, if you're not playing, then perhaps your concentration starts to slip.
Yeah, well, that is obviously true, kind of it, and you wouldn't want that to happen, so obviously taking some time just to play a bit more games between the tournament games could be the way to keep your reflections sharp and make sure that you are always on your toes.
Alright, so we've got the Killer and GC Co-Magnet in the game. Let's get you guys added up as friends, that way we can more efficiently spam you with invites. But we'll get started once we've got 3 or 4 in here, just to make sure this game keeps going all the way to the end. Our admin for today on the ESL side of things is Soldier Go. So if you catch around, please do say hey. There we go, we've got enough people to get started with. So this is the break game. We'll be taking a break ourselves between rounds. But when we return, we should have some more MC5 for your enjoyment. See you guys in a moment. Welcome back, guys. And now that you guys have had a chance to take the center stage, it's time for me, the king of Battle Royale. I'm gonna crush all before me.
Peter, don't make promises you can't keep. Actually, I think we have a code. Yeah, we do have a code.
Why? What a
Unfortunately for
happy
you, Peter.
coincidence.
Yeah, so we're not gonna have to see you stumble around in the dark.
I take offense to that. I would stumble around even if it was fully lit.
Sure. I don't see how that is you. Wait, what? Man. Sometimes you confuse me.
Only sometimes. Oh man, I need to try harder. So guys, our next match is going to be our #1 seeded Score Gaming in their first match of the day, as they take on the Unretired squad, which admittedly isn't the most immediately threatening of names, but I'm trying to think it through. Like, because retired, I mean, I suppose like maybe that's supposed to mean like veteran.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, sure. I feel like it probably should be. Yeah.
We'll have to figure it out while the teams get ready. I think we've. Oh,
I've
wait.
actually never heard of the word before.
It's not really a term that comes up very much.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a sort of real word, really. It's just kind of one of the things that you can understand. But like, you sort of like.
Okay, so definition of unretired: to return after work after having taken retirement. So it's like your veterans coming back after having stopped playing MC5, and then being like disgusted with the way that the youngsters are playing the game.
I assume that's what it is, but I sort of get where they're coming from. It doesn't come across as very threatening to me. I mean, it probably should, but I'm not sure it does. So hey, I think the teams might actually be in 2 different lobbies from each other, so that might be why we're having a little bit of trouble getting them all in here. So guys, hold tight for a second. We will return once the players are ready to go. The Challenger Series Blue Cup #1. Our first quarterfinal of the day. We'll be back in just a few minutes' time. Welcome back, everybody, and to our first quarterfinal match, Unretired against our number 1 seeded team. Coming in today, Mexican representatives, Score Gaming, as we head out onto Scramble.
And you know what, kind of it now here on Scramble, we're going to see a completely different playstyle to the one we saw on Rooftops. Rooftops was all about quick aggression, apparently, for old gens. And now here, for Score Gaming and Unretired, it's more about snipers and taking these long-range battles, because this map is very open. You have a lot of different ways you can find these cheeky ways of killing people, like you're seeing right here from Dulcie. That crack right there is being used to try and snipe someone through. So that is a cheeky way of taking someone down, and that is exactly why snipers, they excel here on this map. Long ranges and cheeky POVs.
Looks able to finish off what Dulcie started there. Of course, you guys might be familiar with Dulcie from his podcast series. He started on the Modern Combat page with various different personalities from around the MC5 scene. It's good to see Dulcie putting those thoughts into practice. In fact, Dulcie themselves is a major reason why we have the tier 3 armor rule in place at the moment. Any of you guys watching can make arguments in the ESL Discord as to why you think a given rule should be changed, and if it gets enough support, it can happen, just like it did for Dulcie.
Yep, well, guys, don't let your dreams be dreams, don't let your dreams be memes, and don't let your memes be memes. Go in, vote, and make an argument for why it should be like that.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's just something really cool about the MC5 tournaments, is that they're so shaped by what the community wants. You know, that's why we don't have prestige weapons anymore. That's why it's down to tier 7.
That's probably why you're still casting, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm joking.
They made a rule to exclude me. Probably for the best.
I tried, but they didn't allow it.
Oh man, well, keep trying. You get those votes. You never know.
You know what, Peter? You're here to carry me, of course. So, like, I was saying that it shouldn't be allowed for someone to hard carry me so hard. But anyway, back to the game. Score Gaming and Unretired. They're hammering at each other, with Score Gaming actually coming out ahead just a tiny bit. 3 kills so far in the lead. Not a lot to talk home about, but oh, 2 more kills, and apparently it's 4 now. So Score Gaming making sure to keep themselves just a tiny bit ahead of Unretired, keeping them at an arm's length.
Very brutal fighting as, let's have a look at those numbers. Yes, it's Arcade who took their first step a little short while ago, as Score Gaming slamming full force into Unretired. We've got the whole map being pretty much used up here, as actually it's Score Gaming taking shelter inside that middle hangar, forcing Unretired to come to them, and by doing so face a hail of grenades.
And you don't want to run into those grenades. They are pretty deadly, especially when you are only using tier 3 armor, which is of course the allowed armor here in the MC5 Cups. Now, looking at the minimap kind of it, you can see how Score Gaming, they are making sure to just keep Unretired in a close confinement. They're not allowing them to push out. Unretired, they're being forced all the way over to the left side of the map, but not even to the entirety of the left side. They're pushed down towards the bottom of that left side, which means the Score Gaming, they know where they are, and they can just throw grenades over there and always find at the right terms that Score Gaming, they want to, because they know when they want to fight, they know how to prep that fight, and they know where Unretired they are.
3 minutes left on the clock for Unretired to make back the distance. Honestly, the American squad Unretired coming in as our number 8 seed today. They're putting up a pretty decent showing against Score Gaming. We certainly expect to see Score Gaming be one of those teams that has the potential to make it all the way to the finals and perhaps become our champions today. You know, as the number 1 seed, the expectations couldn't be higher.
Yeah, well, that is obviously a good point, kind of it, and I must say that Score Gaming so far are looking like the better team. They are winning out on these trades. They know how to work the map against Unretired, and Unretired, they're not getting a single chance to push out. I feel like right now, Unretired, if they could land some good grenades and make sure to buy themselves a way out of that closed off area that Score Gaming they are keeping them in, then that would be the way forward for Unretired to just gain a bit more area to work from.
Well, Unretired, they do manage to erase a good portion of that lead. Now with 2 minutes and 2 kills separating Score Gaming. If they were at all resting on their laurels, perhaps this is enough of an alarm call for them to realize that Unretired are not a team they can afford to take lightly. Grenades flying through the air. Score Gaming's actually making use of the deployable cover. So something we were talking about in the previous tournament is that there's new military support, there's new grenades in play, but as of yet, that's actually the first time I've seen anybody make use of the deployable cover.
Yeah, well, it's not often you see these things come out, kind of it, but innovation is always the key to making sure that you can catch your opponents off guard. Score Gaming, only 2 kills ahead right now. Unretired actually making sure to make their comeback and take the fight to Score Gaming, and suddenly it's even 37-47.
Yeah, Score Gaming, they've been playing pretty far back for a while, and Vulcan and the rest of the Unretired team have been doing a pretty great job of just eking out those leads. Terran G though dropping off the face of the earth, and Danny L as well. This could give the chance for Unretired to finish the job. 30 seconds left to play.
It's looking good for the two teams, but now it comes down to the wire. It's 38-38. Oh, it's all about kills now. Score Gaming getting 2 kills. That is huge. That's going to perhaps give them the lead. At least it's enough time. They can now pull back. Look at what they're doing. They're not giving a chance to Unretired to find those last 2 kills. And the time is running down. Unretired, they're not going to get the chance. It's over. Score Gaming, they win the first map.
Wow, that was... I don't know if quite how to view that from Score Gaming. I mean, they did what they needed to win, but that wasn't at all how we would have expected that to go. But Score Gaming, they were 1 step ahead of Unretired, and 1 step is all it takes. Or in this case, just 2 kills.
Well, I feel like when you know you're in a position where you can win, just pulling away, running down the clock is the smart decision, and it's the way that you make these high percentage plays. Extremely well played by Score Gaming. I'm a big fan.
Well, that's why they are the #1 seed coming in today. But guys, stay tuned for Unretired and Score Gaming will clash again in 7 minutes or less. We'll have to see if the ending to that second game will be just as explosive. See you guys in a few moments' time. Welcome back, one and all. Score Gaming and Unretired clash again. Deedless, last time round, Score Gaming. I think I would not be too far out of line to say that Score Gaming stole that one out from underneath Unretired, who made an incredible comeback during the previous part of the game.
Yeah, they certainly did. Made sure to pull themselves back from like a 5-kill lead from Score Gaming, which is impressive in itself. But then Score Gaming making sure to just get those 2 last kills towards the end of that game. Made sure that they could just pull themselves back and not give up that first victory to Unretired. Now Score Gaming, they're looking to pull this out in a 2-0 fashion.
Now it can be very important for teams to try and control the center of the map here so that they've got good vantage points over all of the approaches. But right now, Score are actually doing a pretty good job of seeding this center ground to Unretired and actually just picking them off from multiple different angles at the same time.
Once again, Score Gaming, they're making sure to play the map so beautiful. They're playing around Unretired. They're making sure to just encapsulate them in a small area where they cannot get out, and where Score Gaming, as you said, can attack from multiple different angles. It's working out so well for them so far. And Score Gaming, they're playing absolutely fantastic.
So, first minute and a half down, Score Gaming again take a crushing trade with Unretired. See there, Coco using the grenades tossed at their own feet to try and cover the retreat. Won't quite manage to get away with it this time round, though. Let's have a look and see. So, Vulcan, you remember from before, with that shred still in hand. This time round, though, Wall is up at the top of the Unretired lineup. Danny L providing that long-range fire support. Ah, I see. It's 1 in the morning. That's why the event has ended. Yeah, Score Gaming, they're doing pretty amazingly so far and don't seem to be showing any signs of slowing down.
Yeah, well, for Score Gaming, they do not need to slow down at all. After all, they do have that 1-round victory, so if they can just up the tempo of the game, then they can take the fight to Unretired. And Score Gaming so far have shown that Unretired, they're not good at playing under stress. And even if Unretired they were to make that comeback, I honestly feel like that Score Gaming, with them having that 1-round lead, they can afford to give up 1 map.
So 4 minutes left to play. Unretired are starting to catch up again on Score Gaming. And there we go, the artillery strike coming in, so that's part of the new military support setup. So you've got the barrier that blocks bullets. As a second string to that, you've got the deployable that blocks rockets and grenades, and then the artillery strike is the last part. So I like that we're actually seeing Score Gaming. I believe it's the other ones, and we can actually have a look through because we can see the kill streaks on the players. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. Let's see. Where is it? There we go. It's Dulzy themselves. Alright. Dulzy we mentioned before. King of Rules. He's the only one in the match making use of these new military support options.
Yep. Well, Dulcy, after all, is a guy who knows to be a bit of an innovator. He has been advocate for tier 3 armor, as you told, Counterfeit, so I'm not surprised at all to see this guy be the innovator of also coming out with new perks.
So the other things we've got to watch out for if they do come through, and actually you have to remember to write this down as a thing to ask to be added to the UI, which is the smoke and tracer grenades to help keep track of where everything is. Spectator. UI. But back to the game specifically. Score Gaming, just like before, have dropped a member, so they're down 4-5. But Unretired are still struggling to nail down those kills. Score Gaming, they're the ones we're controlling the high ground at the moment, trying to bleed out Unretired just a little bit more as the clock comes to a close, but we might not even get that far.
No, we do not. As Score Gaming, they just need 9 more kills and then they're finished with this game and with this round, and they would be ready to move into the semi-final. Right now, I don't think we have a team waiting for them, but it is going to be either SimClan or Wild Cards that could face either Unretired or Score Gaming. So far, looking like it will be Score Gaming.
A lot of quarterfinals going on right now, but this one isn't quite done, as Unretired are doing their best to try and bring it back. Unretired just a couple away from being able to catch up, but can't quite do it as Coco is able to make that last gasp through. Let's have a look. So Panchito and Coco both with 14 kills in this game. That is just craziness. And only 2 kills away from Score Gaming from claiming everything.
Oh, but Panchito also coming in with 7 deaths. He's looking so hot, and now that Score Gaming most likely going to be moving into the semi-final, I feel like it is a bit unrealistic to assume that Unretired they can make their comeback right here and right now. Obviously, we should never say never, but Score Gaming, they have 50 seconds to find 1 kill. Shouldn't be too hard, and especially with one guy flanking around here from Unretired. He is all alone, and that could very easily be an easy kill for Score Gaming, and that will be the case. They find him, take him down, and Score Gaming, they're going to move in to the semi-final.
Very nicely done. The threat remained for that whole game that Unretired might find their way back in, but ultimately just was not the case. And Panchito, along with Coco, as I mentioned before, racking up some serious numbers in that last game. But guys, now that we have finished off that series and we know that Score Gaming will be advancing, we will again ask you guys to take the center stage. So let me just get everything set up for you guys. So we are playing, of course, on iOS. If you use the passkey ESL123, Dealers, I think it's time for a team battle, and just where, oh where, should such a team battle take place?
Well, I feel like we haven't seen a team battle on canals in a long time.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Yeah, it's not something we see very often, but why not?
So, as you can see, we're just setting up the lobby right now. So, basically the same rough rules as the ESL one. So do come and join us. Ah, yes. Okay. And of course we'll have that global chat invite. Hopefully we've got enough of you guys around to fill up the game, because we'll need a lot of people for canals. But we'll see. We shall see. Sir Eyes. Welcome, welcome. So let's actually, well, I'll keep spamming out the invites, but
Hey man, don't spam.
I exist to spam. It's my only means of self-expression.
Sure.
What we can do as well, while we're getting this lobby set up, is take a quick look across at how that bracket has developed. So we'll keep trying to get you guys in here as well. So as you can see, Score Gaming and Unretired, as we've just seen closing. SimClan versus Wild Cards going on at the moment. Old Glory we saw playing before, currently playing against Great Clan, so only one of those will go forward to the semi-finals. And Craze Gaming versus Impossible Missions Force, another team taking part in a, I'm sure, extremely competitive quarterfinal as well. So, Dealers, I feel like the table is set for some truly astonishing semi-final matches.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you know what, kind of it, what I feel like is very surprising? We don't have a lot of Japanese teams moving into the last rounds of this tournament. We have, what, like 3 out of 5 Japanese squads falling in the first round. And now also we have to mention that obviously Old Glory versus Into the Wild, they did fight against each other, so that's one Japanese squad already losing out there. But VA Spirit lost to SimClan. You have Eternal Revenge losing to Unretired. So the Japanese squads, they are falling prey to these teams here today. And if they don't win their quarterfinal matchups, then we're going to have no Japanese squads in the semifinals. And honestly, Old Glory and Craze Gaming, Craze Games, Craze Gaming, in this Craze Gaming, they could actually very well both fall here in their quarterfinal matchup.
Well, we'll keep you guys updated as soon as we are aware of how those quarterfinals did play out. For now, though, we are headed to break while you guys take the center stage. So enjoy. You can, of course, continue to join all the way through with ESL123 or the global chat invite, but we'll catch you guys on the other side of this community game. Alright guys, welcome back. Apparently, that's what happens when we get one of the retired players joining the game. It suddenly becomes a lot more one-sided. But hey, we're always happy when the ESL players come and join in. Just wanted to confirm for any of you guys who are playing in the monthly finals tomorrow. Do not be alarmed if one of the tournaments isn't showing up in the listing. The red finals, we've got confirmation that it is still going on, and that I believe that we corrected, well, at least before the tournament itself goes live. But we'll be having both blue and red March finals tomorrow. One I believe at, let's see, I believe it's at 4 o'clock. I'm gonna say
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. That's right. 5 o'clock for one, and
well, 5 o'clock for me.
Yeah, so if we're talking UK time, actually wait.
Yeah, if we're talking Central European summertime, which I would assume most of you guys are on, or we call it's GMT +1, I believe I'm at.
Well, that's the thing. In the UK, it's actually BST, so British.
Oh wait,
time.
no, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm on GMT +2. So if you're CS Central European summertime, then it would be at 5 o'clock tomorrow in the afternoon, and then it would also be at 10, depending on whether or not you're playing in the red or the blue cup.
Yeah, so I have to remember that for myself. So yes, so if in the UK, that's 4 and 9. Yeah, hey,
Man, you know what? I'm always bad at using GMT. I can never figure out how the hell that works.
It's a tricky one, let me tells yous. But hey, I tell you what's nothing's more simple than a game of the old Battle Royale with cheese. That's how they have it in France, I think.
Oh, well, let's go to the airport.
Nope. Ain't doing it. I did it earlier today, and I was like, every time I do it, I remember why I don't.
Well, man, you're missing out. That's all I can say. You're missing out.
I find that I'm rarely getting missed by people at the airport, though. Oh, that was smooth.
That you got killed.
Yeah, but that was pretty sweet. So if you slid at somebody, like if you slid towards somebody like that, a lot of the time you would get killed, but because it was so close up, it was actually very hard to deal with, because I was like, what? I didn't expect to do that at all. So all credit to them. That was pretty neat. And I think you know what that means, dealers.
That you're gonna have to go again.
And it also means I'm going to slide at everybody. It's Slippy Slidey Ice level. Whee!
Yay!
Yeah! I don't know about you, dealers, but that's how I deal with, you know, if somebody does something impressive, like, you know, if somebody beats me, then assuming that I can't brush it off as, you know, them just being cheap. Which is, you know, is the usual refuge of liars.
Sure.
But if you're like, wow, they just beat me because they were better than me, then that's a really good thing, because you can be like, I'm going to start doing what they were doing. Which, in this case, I think it probably only works as well as it did at the point where the... Oh my gosh. Look at this Star Rider. With that sweet hacksaw hair. Man, that guy's got amazing hair. Alright. I say what, dealers, just for you, let's demonstrate why this is a bad idea.
I don't think it's gonna be a bad idea, man.
Well, that's why it's a bad idea.
Well, maybe you're just bad at the game and should be better.
I mean, that could definitely be true.
Maybe you should just learn to land your shots, man. And aim down your sights. Aim down your sights. Aim down your sights. Nice. And now knife that guy. Oh, headshot. Nice. Good job.
Thanks. Alright, so we've got a crappy gun. But fortunately, we've got 2 kills. So at least if we die at this point, we can feel like we did something before we did. So I think we've got a E24 as well, which is pretty great. But the problem is, because it comes with a fairly substantial scope, it's very hard to use at close range to start off with. But at long range, however, a different story. Also, big clip size. Now, I think this is... I'm not sure if this is the best idea, but I kind of like this. Which is that you kind of like crouch inside here. On this... I think people don't tend to look inside stuff like this very often. Oh gosh, it's... Okay. Oh man, I don't know if you remember before, but I was really proud of myself because I managed to pull off some ridiculously hard snipes by using both hands on my iPad just to hold the aim in place. Because there's a fair amount of wobble to the aim, especially at very, very long range. But I was so proud of myself. That time around it didn't really happen. But I think once you fire the first shot, like especially at long range, you just can't fire full auto or you won't be able to actually hit anything.
Yeah. Knife him! Knife him!
What? What?
Why didn't you knife him?
I don't know, honestly.
Peter, you surprised me.
I was surprised. I wouldn't have expected somebody to just kind of like walk right into me on the stairs.
Well, you gotta be ready for everything, man.
Alright, we'll try it one more time, and then we'll give up. So, something which the guys on the stream, in the PC stream, told me about, which I didn't actually realise was the case, is that on PC, though I'm going to check to see if this is the case in iOS, I suspect probably not, but on PC, there's actually an option to change your UI to be like a PC version. Yeah, that's not here. Let's have a quick look and see if it might be somewhere else. But yeah, like there's the Battle Royale HUD. There's actually a PC-specific HUD now, which you have to enable in the options. But it will give you a couple more bits and pieces on the Spectator, but it gives you quite a dramatically different looking UI when you're playing the game normally. I definitely recommend giving it a try on PC if you happen to be a PC player.
Like you and me, man. Or at least me, I'm more of a PC player.
Oh yeah, well I mean I didn't do very well on PC. I did a lot better when we were playing Tier 1 games.
Because everyone were on equal footing, man.
Yeah, well I mean like also like it takes slightly longer to get killed. So I got a bit more chance to practice before I just got insta-gib by everybody.
That's true. That's a good point, man.
Alright,
let's go to the airport.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Looks like there's no room at the inn. Guess we'll never have to go to the airport ever again. Ooh, a Bosk. Nice. Alright, we're in a good spot. We've got some armor, we've got a good gun. We've got basically everything we need. Alright. Let's grab everything we can and go hunting. So the Institute is interesting, but it's quite confusingly laid out because I think the exits need to be probably more clearly marked. But the level itself is a lot of fun to play in, and certainly of all the areas on this map, it's probably the one which I'm most interested in seeing it turned into a multiplayer.
Yeah. Well... Wait, is that a new part of the map? Institute.
Yeah, it came in the last update.
Oh, nice. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's completely replaced the Fort, which is a bit of a shame, really, because Fort was a pretty decent map.
Yeah, well... It's not the end of the world.
Or is it? Alright, let's customize this. Boop, boop, boop. Sorted.
Customize the hell out of it, man.
Okay. Yeah, like, there's so much detail in this part of the level, it's crazy. But since this is the last, as far as I'm aware, this is going to be the last sort of proper map update in terms of there being like new stuff. I imagine there's still going to be tweaks to the map, and definitely design wise to the mode. But as far as like getting new bits to the map, I think that's going to be pretty much it for now. Oh, we are receiving word that next match is going to be Old Glory versus Impossible Missions Force. Man, that's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, that should be a pretty good matchup. Impossible Missions Force obviously being, I must say, the big favorites of that matchup, but Old Glory, they didn't look bad as either, and we actually have a pass key.
Alright guys, so we shall return in just a few moments time with our next match. So I believe, from what we were saying before, that this could well be our first semi-final of the day, and yes it is. So guys, don't go anywhere, we shall be back in just a few moments time with that next ESL match. Semi-final coming up. Welcome back, one and all. Our first semi-finals is here as Old Glory face off against the Impossible Missions Force. This should be a pretty good match. Impossible Missions Force come in as our number 2 seed, Old Glory as our number 11. But Old Glory have torn through Great Clan. They tore through into the wild. Maybe, just maybe, they'll do the same to IMF.
And both teams won their quarterfinal in a 2-0 fashion, and I must say, Old Glory winning 2-0 against Great Clan is quite surprising. After all, Great Clan is a legendary old team. They've been around for forever, and Old Glory, they're just starting out here. They're just coming in. Obviously, it's Kiri and Rai, these two guys from Roxas that have a lot of experience to work with. They are leading the squad, so it isn't as surprising when you mention that. But still, seeing as how far that they have gone, they are just being a bit of an upset here today. But obviously having to go through Impossible Missions Force is quite a task of itself. And we're gonna have to see if Old Glory can do so. For now, they are keeping quite up with IMF.
To take you back for a little bit of a history lesson, Deedless, the last time these guys played was back in April. So a month ago. The last time before that was nearly 2 years before that as a team. I'm certain the individual component members of the squad, Old Glory, have played a lot more than that. But as a team, they've only played twice in the last couple of years. But in those 2 tournaments that they played last month and a couple of years ago, they did come first, taking out in those tournaments ASN, First Action, Great Clan, Craze Gaming, all names that have been around the scene. For IMF, they too have won their last 2 tournaments. So these are both teams that have legitimate claims to the throne going head to head in our semi-finals.
And kind of it, I love what the hype that you're building around this match, because it's living up to it right now. 14-15, IMF not pulling themselves ahead, and Old Glory, they're making the comeback every time IMF they find that kill. So the hype that you're delivering is also matching up to the pace of this game.
Rai, we saw before, doesn't hesitate when the opportunity to deliver punishment arrives. As Old Glory, they're starting to build up that head of steam they're gonna need to take down these other pretenders to the throne. Daxi does do some nice work as we're seeing suppressing fire coming in from the IMF side, but ultimately the rain of bullets can be interrupted by just a single shot from those BSWs.
That's absolutely true, kind of it. And IMF right now not being able to start up that lead that they so want. GG right now, still haven't found a single kill. As you see IMF finding one with Frenzy, but the carry immediately trading that back over. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. It's 27-25, 28-25, and Old Glory starting to pull themselves ahead right here. Could we see an upset? Could they take down IMF?
It's still so damn close. Daxi has been stepping up for the IMF team after a little bit of a shaky early game. It's bringing that shotgun right into the faces of Old Glory, just dancing around their entire team, only just able to be stopped as their carnival of destruction claims, I think, 4 or 5 kills in a row.
But kind of it, I don't feel like we have a clear winner yet. It is very close. IMF now pulling themselves ahead with just a few kills. But Old Glory can swing that around very fast. We've seen that happen before. And now the teams they match up. 35, 36-38. Kills coming in right here. IMF finding 2. Daxi and Frenzy. And Daxi continues finding even more kills. 4 kills in the lead for IMF. But it's not over yet, and they need to keep this up.
Frenzy stepping up for the team, 15-10 so far. That DBS shotguns, they've been working so damn well, but everything is exploding as we come down to these last few moments. Loads of time left on the clock. but the lifelines of both these teams is tenuous as IMF, they built up such an impressive lead, they're only 2 away.
And IMF, they will round out things right here. They take that victory, and even though, oh glory, they got so close, it is not enough. IMF, they take the first victory. Congratulations to them. But with the way that this first game was, I feel like we could very well go to 3 games because, oh glory, they must surely want revenge after that one game.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got 2 very strong performances there. Makoto 14-6 from IMF, Daxi 17-12. Just some real crazy numbers. But yeah, I think you're right, D-List. I think it's likely, and I can really hope that we do get all 3 games from these 2 teams. As I said, they've got legacies to preserve in this one, but only one of these teams can head to the finals. Guys, stay tuned, for we shall return. Our semi-finals may even come to an end after the break, and you do not want to miss it. Welcome back, gentle friends, one and all. We've got a little bit of a delay on our next match, so we're going to do a quick Battle Royale and then open it up to you guys to play live on stream. So, Dealers, speaking as the Battle Royale connoisseur, based on what you've seen so far, what do you think's my major malfunction, which has led to all of the games being disastrous up until this point?
You don't know how to land the shots, man.
So how does a person play if they don't have the ability to aim properly?
Like you. Yeah, well, like you, man.
You almost made me accidentally rage quit, I was so mad.
I'm so sorry. I think that was funny. So you have to admit that.
I'm gonna go stare at this brown elevator, which doesn't even have an elevator inside it. That's how sad I am. Look at this secure. Who has a security thing, like, in going into a newsagent, honestly?
Well, are you sure it's a news agency?
Well, I mean, it's got a bunch of magazines around the outside. Why don't you wait? Is it?
Well, it could be an abandoned store.
No, it's actually a video game thing. So okay, that actually makes sense now. These are security things to stop us.
Wait, Peter, go back. Look right there. You can just. Is that? How is gravity? Wait, what? Gravity's not working for that. The drag.
You could have a. Wait, these are. Oh, they're not games consoles, actually. They're personal organizers. Man, personal organizers haven't been a thing for a long time. Well, I say that.
Personal organizers. What's a personal organizer?
It's basically like It's like the initial form of what now became effectively someone's. Like when people didn't have mobile phones that were effectively just.
Yeah, so like a calendar, right? Essentially a calendar. Oh wait, an electronic personal organizer. I've never seen stuff like that before.
Yeah, it's basically just like a little micro laptop sort of thing, which had like a bunch of basic functionality. The reason they don't exist anymore is because all of that functionality can be now gotten through just your mobile phone. But it used to be that mobile phones were just incredibly basic, so they didn't have the ability to actually do anything like, you know, Snake was was a huge hit at the time because it was the most game thing you could do with your phone. And everyone, I remember when I was at school, like, which is definitely showing my age, but whatever, like, that people would play Snake all the time because it was the best game available. And it was basically the only game available. And, oh man, like, I mean, it's still a pretty okay game, but people used to play it obsessively because they just didn't have anything else. It kind of, like, it did give a bit of an indication of what, of how, like, massive mobile gaming could be. Oh crap, I didn't even see that person!
Oh, Peter, man.
Oh boy. Ah, boy.
You should be ashamed of yourself, man.
I should be, but I ain't.
You're showing the children how to play poorly.
Hey man, I consider myself a role model to all generations.
Sure.
So guys, I hope that you'll come and join us on stream as we continue to abuse your eyeballs.
Abuse your eyeballs? What?
So, Dealers, while we wait for the next game, or at least to the beginning of this one as well, what should we compose a song about?
How bad you are at MC5.
Okay.
And then, well, actually, let's make it how bad I am at MC5, because I'm bad at MC5 on mobile consoles.
was a man called Daedalus. He...
Wait, you're generous now. I'm calling you a man.
I don't know, what would you prefer?
Dude. I feel like I don't feel old enough to be a man, but I also feel older than a boy.
It's true.
I actually had this discussion with one of my friends at a time. Because I feel like when I think of a man, I think of my dad, right? And my dad is like 60 years old. And I'm 20, so like that's 40 years in difference.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I need like a word for like a middle ground. And I feel like dude is probably like the best middle. Because it's not really, I'm not a, well, maybe a guy, I guess. Maybe just call me a guy.
I know what you mean. Like, I feel like man is a thing that's kind of applied to other people.
Yeah, or like when you get a child or something like that. When you actually have to take responsibility for your life, man.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I feel like it's a kind of a milestone-based thing, because you're right, I think it's when you have to do certain things, it kind of really changes you as a person. I think because you have to, like, take on certain kind of role that you wouldn't have otherwise not maybe had to. Alright, where are we going to randomly end up? It's going to be the freaking airport. I think it's not actually random, I think you always end up at the airport if you don't have anywhere else to go. It's like purgatory.
Why do you think it's the purgatory?
Well, that was a big mistake.
Oh, well, that's fine because we do have a code. So a calculated risk, man.
That's right. I knew it the whole time. Learn from me, fellow kids.
I'm hip. My name's Counterfeit. I'm hip.
I've got a new one.
You got a new one,
A
what?
new hip.
Sure.
I thought that was probably a little bit too... Like, when someone has to kind of go through several levels to figure out what it is you're actually making a joke about, it's probably a little bit too roundabout.
Well, it's also hard, right, when you're not a native English speaker. Because sometimes you just have to click in the differences that a word can be used in. Or the different scenarios a word can be used.
Well, guys, IMF versus Old Glory. Their second semi-final game is almost ready to begin. So you'll be able to see just as we will once the players are ready to get going. Looks like IMF will be playing over on the blue. So guys, once all the players are ready, then we shall return with our second semi-final game. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you in a few moments' time. Welcome back, friends from around the globe. Old Glory and IMF clash once more in semi-final competition. IMF with the one game advantage, one step away from the finals.
Counterfeit, you know what, Old Glory and IMF. The first game was so competitive, so close, that I cannot wait to see how game number 2 will go, because IMF and Old Glory, both teams, they are deserving of getting into the grand final, but only one team can get there so far. And right now IMF with a 1-kill lead, just giving them a slight edge over Old Glory.
Still though, yeah, we've got some pretty good play in the opening part. Very brutal exchanges between the two. Taxi manages to pick up the first one for the IMF squad to keep things more or less even. Seems like IMF quite happy to try and take control of the central part of the map. Of course, both teams will be more than happy to donate more than a few grenades, as GG soaks a little bit of that. We are seeing that from the Old Glory side of things. They're trying to send a member out to the side, but nice shot through there from TCO, and it's now IMF who may have the flank.
Well, I like what IMF they are doing overall, just taking control of that middle settlement, waiting for Old Glory to come to them, and then having TCO just stay out on that flank, making sure to catch any people from Old Glory just going off track. But TCO will go down to Fold, who immediately comes in for his revenge. And now Muntis is going to be all alone and will immediately go down. Right now Old Glory with 2 kills in the lead, looking quite good for themselves.
Yeah, a bit of a split up there from the IMF squad. They sent 3 members over to the far eastern flank, which feels like it could be a mistake here, as Old Glory are getting to basically just do what they want. In the center of the map, Monster goes down as well, and Old Glory fighting less than half of the IMF team at once, now up 7-3.
It's looking pretty good here for Old Glory, and if they could pull this off, then they will be forcing us to a game number 3, meaning that we're gonna go the distance, guys, but don't give up on IMF quite yet. They're only behind 4 kills, and they have pulled themselves back from a bigger deficit, but Old Glory now ahead by 5, finding those kills, taking those trades, and Old Glory are coming out ahead.
Looking pretty good for their chances for Old Glory to make this go all the way to a game number 3, which is just what we've been hoping for. As we said back in the first game, both of these teams with some pretty impressive score sheets so far. Old Glory looking to try and make their return after a successful run last month. But before that, it had been a very long time since this lineup had been together. Right now, they seem to be back on form again.
And looking pretty good, and IMF here in our second game, not looking too good at all, and Old Glory completely dominating IMF. So Counterfeit, I feel like we're probably gonna go to streets, we're probably gonna go to the deciding game, and right now just looking at the scoreboard, if you could pull that up please, Counterfeit, you can see that IMF not putting in the same numbers as Old Glory. You have 6 kills on Fold, 5 kills on Makoto, and the top fragger from IMF, that's TCO with 3 kills. Not quite the same number.
Well, the numbers don't lie, and the construction site seems to be almost entirely in the Old Glory's hands. Literally looking to retread those former paths worn by success before. It's the streets that will be the third map between these two. I'll be fascinated to see if that third game will be competitive like the first one, or almost a walkover like this second one.
Well, Counterfeit, I'm not quite sure what to say. It's just a smashing performance from Old Glory, and IMF not really being able to, well, put up a fight at all against Old Glory. They're just simply looking too strong and too good.
All thoughts of strategy seem to have been thrown out of the window. Before we saw this very measured style as the teams attempted to outmaneuver each other. IMF seem to have just abandoned that entirely. We can see though from the Old Glory side, they continue to try and send folds around the outside. Does this time manage to break through? And IMF, man, they really respect the heck out of Fold, because anytime Fold tries to go for a flank, 3 IMF members come to try and put them down.
But it's hard to take someone down when you are dead and IMF. They die here and there and all the time. There's simply no chance for them to take down Fold. And right now with a 10 kill to 5 death scoreline, this guy is looking absolutely unstoppable. Same goes for Old Glory, 4 more kills, and they will have done it. They will have finished out this game.
IMF, I think it felt like they maybe gave this one over to Old Glory time ago. He said, you know, all these competitions are made up of multiple rounds, multiple games, each set a best of 3. So IMF, they could afford to drop this game. It's possible this ended up being as one-sided as it was because IMF just didn't want to go full bore on trying to save a game which seemed to be already out of control.
But what a performance from Old Glory kind of fit. And honestly, I feel like game number 3 is going to be interesting. Is IMF going to be able to show up? Because they had a good performance, rather to say, in game number 1. But if Old Glory, they can play like this again in game number 3, then I feel like it's no contest.
Well, guys, we shall find out in just a few minutes' time who will be headed to the Grand Finals. Will it be Old Glory? Will it be the Impossible Missions Force? Only one can go forwards. We'll see what happens in just a few moments away. Welcome one, welcome all. These mean streets bear witness to the old glory against the team that are tasked with an impossible mission. Only one team moves through to the finals and the streets say who it is.
Well, kind of it. You know what? Old Glory, they looked so strong in game number 2. IMF, they need, however, to show up here in game number 3. It's a do or die time.
Frenzy doing a fantastic job in the opening as IMF, they come out of the gate swinging, looking to try and get those kill streaks coming in, and Frenzy is leading the charge. More than half of the IMF squad's kills are on this one member who's already been cashing in those kill streaks to push that lead further. Control of the center firmly in IMF's hands, and it doesn't get much better if you start than this.
No, it really doesn't, and now for IMF, it's about developing this kill lead. They have right now 5 kills in the bag. They just need to add a few more. Now with 6, looking good. IMF, keep this up, and then you should be on the way to the grand final. Old Glory not being as explosive here in game number 3 as they were in game number 2.
Now, I'm impressed from IMF. You mentioned before the possibility with even with 5 Japanese teams taking part today. Old Glory are the last of those 5 Japanese teams, so if they do go down here, that will be despite having the most teams in the tournament. They will not, none of them will get to go to the final stages, and I guess that's at least a testament to how competitive the field has been here today.
It really does. And you know what, Counterfeit? IMF, they are more deserved. Well, they are deserving of getting into the grand final, and I feel like with the performance that they have, they just need to make sure not to be as lackluster as they were in game number 2, and then they should have a fair chance in the grand final. Obviously, they have also a fair chance of meeting up against Score Gaming, the first seeded team of this tournament, which could very well mean that it would be the first seeded team against the second seeded team.
Yeah, well, it's a testament to some quality seeding coming into the tournament. That's what's supposed to happen. It's to make sure that we get our very most competitive game right at the end, where we can enjoy it in its full glory as a best of 5. Old Glory starting to have the shine worn off in this last game. Have very few chances left as IMF, they have really not slowed down since the start of this game. They want to put this one to an end very, very quickly, and they're only 14 kills away from doing so.
Certainly are. Old Glory and IMF is quite the matchup, kind of, and I feel like this series has been delivering a lot, but it's not over yet. Old Glory can still make the comeback, but IMF looking much better here in game number 3, much cleaner, but they need to keep things up, because right now is not the time to stop putting the pressure down upon Old Glory.
Well, it is telling that IMF Frenzy, who has been leading the charge for a while, has gone from, you know, having a 10-1 record to a 17 or 18-7. That maybe Old Glory could keep the top scorer of the IMF squad off the field. Now only separated by 4. This is the last chance, I suspect, for Old Glory as they start to take casualties, and perhaps those last chances are evaporating before our very eyes.
It is slowly running out here for Old Glory. The time glass is gone and dusted. 2 more kills for IMF, and the Impossible Missions Force will have made the impossible mission happen. They will have taken down Old Glory. 1 more, and it is over. And there we go. It is going to be IMF moving in to the grand final of today's competition.
There we go. Their mission was accepted. Let's have a quick refresh on the bracket, actually, because Score Gaming are currently playing against Zim Clan. Okay, it looks like that's still ongoing, but we at least know half of the finalists. But let's take a quick look across. Yeah, Frenzy just played out of their mind in that last game, almost single-handedly carrying IMF across the finish line.
Well, IMF can definitely rely on that guy, and if they can keep that up here for the grand final, then I'm sure we're going to see one hell of a matchup.
So guys, please do come and join us for a break game. We're going to go for a free-for-all. Deedless, where's it going to be?
Let's go for a capture the flag on the canals.
Alright. So, if you use the passkey ESL123, let's see how adept you are at navigating through. So that all looks okay. Shazoom! So if you're playing on iOS, ESL123 or the global chat invite, both will get you into game. Of course, this game is not just about getting them kills, it's about getting the flags. It's the only thing that matters, and getting it back to your own base. Now, Douglas, there is the small wrinkle that if your flag is in the wild, that you can't score as well.
Ooh, that means that the teams are going to have to play accordingly. Hey.
It's also the Halloween episode. Well, spoopy or spoopiest? There's only one way to find out. PSM, welcome. But who will join you? Who will be your teammate? Who will be your foe? For your enemy today will maybe your ally tomorrow, or even yesterday.
Yesterday.
Great Clans Suka, I'm sorry, but I can't have respect for anyone who doesn't say nothing personnel, kid. There we go. Got a few more bodies coming in. Izanagi and Aim. Welcome, welcome. That's a cool looking, I really like Aim's icon. That's really cool. That looks very much like a Twitter verified icon. Good job, Aim. Good job. So we'll see if we can get a few more people. Oh, jeez. Yeah, bye. I just don't get it. I just don't get it sometimes.
You don't get a water, man.
Some people, just very immature names.
Oh, you just don't get some people.
I just don't get some people.
Yeah, well, I can understand you, man.
Hopefully they'll get the idea. So,
some people.
Some people.
Some people.
Wait, I feel like there's a song in here somewhere. Let's see. Some people think they're smart, but they're not smart. Beautiful song.
10 out of 10. Would listen to it again.
I feel like it started well.
And then it ended horrible. Or horribly.
Well, you know, man, that's the whole process of songwriting. Performix never said hi back to you. That's definitely not true. You've been around forever. Fibruga, who is Peter? Sounds like a big jerk, huh?
Well, I can assure you he is not. He's actually a really nice guy.
Wolves, I appreciate. I appreciate Wolves took on the job maybe I should have done there, which was to, Oops. Alright, we're going to just start this one up, and apologies for any of you guys who see an offensively named player, so we did report them just there, with a extreme version of an emote, which will hopefully get lots of attention. Now then guys, we shall return in 7 minutes or less with our ESL competition. So don't go anywhere. IMF advanced, but who shall join them? We'll find out soon. Welcome back, everyone, and I forgot to even check who to say congratulations to. Well,
Peter, that's a rookie mistake, man.
a Wookiee mistake.
A Wookiee mistake.
R.I.P. Peter Mayhew. He was a really nice guy. If you guys aren't aware, he was the guy who played Chewbacca. I think he actually played Chewbacca in the more recent Star Wars movies as well.
Yeah.
Hugely tall guy, but also a huge sweetheart. Man, I hope one day people are impressed by me being a big hairy Wookiee, as much as they were for him. If any of you guys would like to come and play on stream, then this looks like a quite a good lobby for it, because we haven't got too many people in here. Throw up a YOLO if you're from the stream. And I think we're going to have a little bit of a wait before our next ESL game, so we'll get in a few more community games before we're done.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
Let's see here. Have we seen any yellows? I don't think we've seen any yellows. Oh boy. Wait a second. What are we seeing here? What is this?
Wait, turn around, man. Oh, you're inside a hangar.
That does look like the inside of a hangar, but that's not... That's the inside of a hangar. But I've never seen that particular level. Wait, is this... That's not like on the other side of this, is it? I don't think so. Ooh, ah.
Well, if you look inside the other container, then it's the same side.
Oh wait, actually, hold on. We've actually got one of the semi-final games. So in which case, hold the phone, guys. I think it's going to be Score Gaming versus Zim Clan. So we haven't had a chance to see any of this as of yet. I think this is the other semi-final. So hold the phone. Let's see. So Dinos, where did Zim Clan come from?
That was North Korea, man.
Oh, that's right. That's the Northern and Southern Korean teams.
Yeah.
Or I say representatives because nearly all of the time teams aren't from a specific country, or at least all of the players aren't. Maybe even the majority of the players.
Okay, so we could jump into game number 2 between Score Gaming and SimClan. And
Okay.
SimClan apparently won game 1.
Well, there you go. Alright, guys. So we've got the pre-game lobby ready. And we'll be picking things back up with our official ESL competition in just a few moments once all of the players are in place and ready to begin. So guys, don't go anywhere. Our second semi-final will resume in just a few moments' time. Welcome back, one and all. So we teased you with it before, and now we are going to try and make good on it. As Zinclan and Score Gaming clash for the second time. The first one, of course, was off stream, but now we get to see if Score Gaming will survive for ourselves.
Yeah, well, Zinclan apparently coming in and making some upsets happen. They did win game number 1, but Score Gaming, wow, they're coming out swinging here to begin with, picking up 3 kills, and now finally, they're gonna be on the table. Kind of, you might want to update the name of Sim. It's a Sim and not a Sim.
Ah, I do apologise. I also had them on the wrong side, so... Haha! Take that!
We're only humans. Mistakes can happen.
Not on my watch. The Zinclan doing a really good job of dominating the early going. Jesse, an innocuous sounding name, but along with Avenger, has been pulling in some pretty serious numbers. Panchico does join in for the Mexican squad, but it's looking like already things are in a tough spot. We saw Arcade playing a little bit earlier on today in the PC tournament. Not having the best of times here, but Coco does manage to at least start to get Score Gaming onto the board a bit, taking some real clutch close range encounters, managing to go for and secure the 1 versus 3. Backup finally arrives from the other Score Gaming members, and now it seems like a much more competitive game.
It certainly is. It's 9-14. Score Gaming just a tiny bit behind Sim right now, but they can still make that comeback happen. Zinclan, if they were to take down Score Gaming, then that would be quite the upset of this tournament. Zinclan coming in after all as our 12th seeded team, so I don't think there was a lot of people expecting them to go all the way to possibly the grand final, let alone the semi-final.
Yeah, they've got the chance to go and prove their mettle in the grand final itself. Of course, as we said right back at the opening of the tournament, only one team can take home the grand prize today, as well as top seeding points for the monthly finals. You will get points no matter where you finish, but there's a huge difference between finishing in first and finishing near the bottom of the table in terms of getting yourself into that top 8 and making sure that you make it to monthlies.
It's true, kind of fit, and well, you know what? Obviously, it's very important to win these weekly tournaments in order to get to the monthly finals, and it's also very important for you to get very far. The higher you place in these weekly tournaments, the more go for points you're gonna have to go into the monthly finals. So for Zinclan, as a new team coming out here and showing the world what they can do, it is extremely important for them to start racking up these points. And right now, with them getting to the semi-final and most likely going into the grand final with the way that they are playing, I feel like the points should be in their hands already.
It's seeming like it could well be over for Score Gaming. It seems like a 2-0 semi-final defeat is on the cards. Zinclan continue to impress. MIT, well, there you go. I kind of feel like MIT, those 3 letters, they spell success for any team that they might find MIT landing on. Is more than capable of saving teams by themselves, and seems to be doing that job right here and now.
And kind of at Zinclan pulling themselves so extremely far ahead. I don't feel like Score Gaming can do a lot right here. It feels like whenever Score Gaming they take one step forward, Zinclan, they just run a marathon and continue to be 100 paces ahead.
So you may have seen MIT playing on the Zodiacs family before, and pulling in some very impressive performances there. We were discussing this during the break, that yeah, we do see a fair amount of fluidity in where the particular players end up playing. You know, we have got teams which play, or pretty much exclusively with each other. But even teams like Zodiacs and Victory of Lords, you'll occasionally see those big name players playing on other squads and still doing extraordinarily well.
Yeah, and well, that is what we're seeing right here. But Sim Clan will take this series 2-0, and that means that they're gonna move into the grand final. Congratulations to them! They're gonna meet up against the Impossible Missions 4. So it is going to be South Korea's representative from Impossible Missions 4 going up against Sim Clan.
Alright guys, let's get y'all in too. What could easily be our final community game of the day. So as always, you know what the score is. If you're playing on iOS, then ESL123 or the global chat invite, both of those methods will find you within a game of our own creation. So, Deedless, where shall we head for that final community match?
Well, let's go to overtime.
Overtime?
Yeah, we don't see that very often.
Well, it's about time. Let's get this one started. As I said, we've been waiting on our grand finals for the teams to be ready. Of course, it kind of varies sometimes. You know, some of the teams will want a break, some of the teams will want to try and take their hot streak from the round before and go straight into the finals, but when you're looking down the barrel of a potentially a 5-game series, I can certainly understand the notion of, you know, of trying to take a few moments to recenter yourselves.
Yeah, well, that does make a lot of sense, kind of it, and you know what? It isn't the worst idea at all.
So come and join us, gentle friends, for our break should, you know, like every moment, Deedless, like every moment, should be full of MC5 action. We're trying to make sure that you guys are never left wanting. So I believe we've got one, but can we get another? Well, Deedless,
kind of it you could always be playing. But I'm sure there's gonna become more
you
teams.
have been here before.
Sorry.
Have seen the results of such actions.
Yeah, I've seen you play. I would prefer not to see that again.
Well then, don't make such suggestions.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're not sorry. Not yet.
Are you threatening me? I am the Senate.
Ah. Now this is pod racing.
It's treason then.
I like the way you said it like you're someone who's like, what would you like to order? Oh, it's treason then. Sounds delicious.
It's treason then?
And would you like a side with that?
A salad, please.
A side of more treason?
It's like when you order a lasagna or something like that at an Italian restaurant, and you're like, yeah, I like cheese. Just give me a lot of cheese. And you end up having like an entire roll of cheese on your pizza or lasagna or whatever.
I feel like that's a very bold thing to say, like, I want a lot of anything. Hey, Selling Golem. Akita, counterfeit is good. Thank you for asking.
Well, I feel like you should never say you want a lot of parmesan, because then you always will get a load of parmesan.
I feel like they probably would take it as a personal affront. That, especially in an Italian restaurant.
Did you want a lot of parmesan?
You're suggesting that they aren't putting the food together in such a way that is optimal. So like, you want cheese? Hey, have all the cheese in the world.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, Peter.
Can we find just a few more friends to join us for a little time on overtime? Yeah. So, how have we got so far? Salvador? Akita. Akita is lonely. A tragic tale of Akita.
Oh no.
No one would be on their team. Not even Asuka. Maybe Aim God. Oh, you.
Wait,
All
is
right.
that all? Are you making a new song?
I'm thinking about it. But we'll catch you guys after. Oh, wait, no.
Wait,
Alright,
now?
you two mate, who dis? Let's get started. Catch you guys on the other side of the break with, hopefully, our grand finals. Hello, gentle friends, we've got a final waiting for you. But before we do, let's do some more Battle Royale.
Battle Royale?
Yeah, it's like a regular battle, but with more royal bits on it.
Hey.
Yeah. So far, every Battle Royale we've taken part in has been an unmitigated disaster. Let's hope we can do even worse this time.
Sure. Why not?
Meow, 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 meow.
Why are you a cat?
Today actually, I managed to introduce a new aspect to our meme supply, which is that my aunt's dog is currently staying along with my aunt. So I had to explain to people why there was borking in the background. So I'm trying to make borking a thing on the stream.
See, when I first started casting, I had a microphone that apparently would pick up the sound of my hamster running in his reel.
Alright.
Yeah. Oh, wow. There's actually been a lot of changes to the Battle Royale map.
Yeah, man. The update's out on PC now, so you ain't got no excuse for not knowing.
Oh man, I should really get to play the new Battle Royale. I had no idea that was a new update. But that's pretty cool. I really like, I really want to see more of the resort.
Oh, the resort is nice. Like, that's another one which would make it very good. I wonder why we weren't dead. It's because the person who was shooting us is using the world's most terrible SMG.
Or maybe he just doesn't know how to aim down his sight like you.
Ah, a brother! You see, in a different world, we could have been friends, them and I. With our ineptitude.
Oh, that's also the worst gun in the world, the compact. It's your favorite.
I mean, at least there's some range in it. Like, I mean, it's pretty awful. I'm not really sure why it's in this mode, honestly. But I suppose you've got to have some bad guns for a comparison on guns you pick up when you're just super freaking desperate.
Yeah. I feel like that goes without saying.
Man, there must have been... Wait, I think this is where we killed someone before.
Yeah, that's where you killed someone.
I was like, man, there must have been a lot of fighting around here.
Oh, bullets! Who's been fighting here? Well, the only two people who spawned there.
Let's use some bullet pattern analysis. Oh, hello.
Oh, there's a guy. Aim down your sights!
I refuse.
Ah, you disgust me.
Disgusting.
No, you just disgust
me.
Why would I disgust you? I only discuss with you.
So we've come out of that whole thing with a terrible SMG, 4 health packs, and some half beaten up tier 2 armor. I feel like things are going great.
Yeah, man, always look at the bright side of life. If that's one thing Monty Python has taught me.
Well, I mean, that song had multiple parts to it.
Well, that's what I remember. Just always look at the bright side of life. Also of death, of course. Shoot him! Aim down your sights! Aim down your sights!
Oh man, if I'd aimed down my sights, I think I would have won.
Yeah, well, that's why I continue to tell you to aim down your sights. You coach. Why are you laughing?
Right. Hey,
well,
50% off all classes. Nice.
Hey, nice. Well, do you want to go for another Battle Royale, or are we going for a Capture the Flag?
Well, I think I'll leave that up to the community to play the capture the flag. For now, though, if any of you guys are up for playing some Battle Royale, please do come and join. I think this is a good game we're getting community members in on. So just queue up right now. So you can see the Institute up there. I think it was Big Gorilla or maybe it was Hunter was talking about how it kind of reminded them of the... oh, hello. Hey, someone's gone full clown.
You know what, Peter? I feel like the Battle Royale mode is actually starting to look pretty, or very pretty. You just need a bit more terrain, and then I feel like it's very much on the way. A bit of more terrains. More terrain. More of a variety in houses, and then I feel like you're kind of there.
I think this is probably pretty much what we get for the time being. I think something, I don't know, I'm trying to think if this is a thing on other maps, of having like kind of like bits of tall grass. I feel that's probably something that's really kind of missing here, is, you know, even though I suspect the reason why like you don't kind of get like actual modeled grass in this, it's just a texture. Because again, that's one of the things that you can use to save a lot of CPU power, is just having that. Because honestly, you don't miss that much. But I think some amount of tall grass in the map, I think, would add quite a lot. Just as kind of like, as basically terrain you can hide in that's, you know, sort of like minimal.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like it would make the map just that tiny bit prettier.
Yeah.
But the Institute is looking amazing.
Yeah,
and like look at the hills. I just like the hills inside the Institute. Give me more of those outside of the map, or outside on the map, and I would be happy.
I strongly suspect that whoever... Oh, I wonder if Pet Forwards from the stream. I strongly respect whoever like put the work into this is quite proud of it, because it is very nice.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
I might see if I can persuade Game Loss to do some articles about some of the Battle Royale stuff, because I think there'll be some really interesting little stories, like, you know, just what this is based on and things.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
At the harbor, can you go on the big ship?
I don't think so, but we can find out.
Yeah, well...
Actually, yeah, that's a like a fairly common FPS map as a ship, which isn't in MC5.
Yeah. I remember a lot of my early FPS gaming where you would play on ships.
Yeah, just quite a fun thing.
Yeah, well, it's also very easy and straightforward, I guess.
This is a lot of it's shipping crates, which is just boxes.
Yeah, well, it's that, and then also there's just like a linear map. You don't have to make like a boxy map. You can just make people run down a straight line, and then you just need multiple levels on the map.
Well, there certainly is the hope that now the Battle Royale mode is pretty much done as far as, like, at least the mapping part of it goes. So I think there's going to be a lot more stuff coming in terms of, like, actual gameplay facets, or at least I hope there will be. Because I think there's a lot more that could be done with it. Because even though it's a pretty, it's a solid Battle Royale mode at the moment, whoops, it can, like, I think it could potentially, like, have a lot, experiment with lots of different ideas. Oh, the PR-39.
I hate that weapon.
My old friend.
It sucks.
It doesn't suck. It just requires you to, like, put millions of attachments on it.
It doesn't deal any damage, and it has an incredibly short clip.
Yeah, you do need to. You need to upgrade it to the tier 3 ammo capacity before it's really usable.
Yeah.
But hey, we've got a good sniper rifle at least, so.
Yeah, that's something, man. The imp is always good and overpowered.
Imp does definitely feel like that's what probably weapon you should be getting from a drop rather than just pick it up
Oh,
normally.
we do have a passkey, kind of it.
Ooh. Then we abandon ship on this battle royale, and we are going to get our grand finals started. So guys, we hope that you have enjoyed the tournament so far, but this finals promises to be a blinder, as we've got the Impossible Missions Force. Let's wait on confirmation in case there was any kind of change of plans against Zim Clan in the grand finals. So yes, North Korean representatives versus South Korean representatives. Should be, well, but from what we've seen so far, we should get ourselves some top quality MC5 action. But it's always tough to tell before the game actually starts, you know, how these two dominant teams will actually measure up against each other.
Yeah, that's true, but I feel like it should be a fairly even match. SimClan, I feel like, are the more explosive team, and they rely more on their momentum than IMF, who are more well-rounded, I would say, and definitely know how to play multiple different strategies in their games.
We shall see. So guys, we're just getting that game set up, so stay tuned. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time with the grand finals. Welcome one, welcome all to our grand finals. IMF against Zim Clan. Two teams who have looked very, very good in the matches coming up to this point. Zim Clan managing to take the 2-0 against Score Gaming. Impossible Missions Force blooded on their way there against Old Glory in the semi-finals. We'll have to see how they match up against one another.
Well, Sim Clan, a team that's all about getting the momentum and getting a lead and then just making the game spin out of control, will have to go up against IMF, a really well-rounded team that know how to slow things down, but also know how to up the tempo of the game. Right now, IMF, they're saying, Sim Clan, we can do what you can do, but we can do it better. Right now, just taking the fights to them, going for these small duels, and IMF, they are coming out on top.
First minute down, and IMF looking pretty good here. Suzuki going for the flankeroonie around while Daxi is going one versus many. Doesn't unfortunately go their way. Let's see how well the numbers are lying. Yep, it's Frenzy once again. Remember from the previous encounter against Old Glory, really lived up to their name, slamming in kill after kill. For the side of Zim, it's going to be Ray who's leading the pack right now, currently down and out for the count, as it's almost dead even between the two squads.
Well, Sim Clan slowly making that comeback happen. IMF, they're not really going for those duels anymore. They are slowing the game down quite a bit, and Sim Clan actually ahead right now, kind of fit. So that's quite surprising. The 12th seeded team actually standing their ground against the second seeded team from IMF.
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty impressed. Of course, MIT is going to be one to watch during this. We praised them before for being a big difference maker for whichever team they land up on. Let me just grab a little bit more game volume, actually. Yep, there we go. As I want to hear those explosions and kabooms just a little bit more clearly, a little bit more sweetly. Honestly, needless, the sound of the battlefield isn't quite the same if it doesn't, have the right level of kaboom.
I've never heard that before, but sure, kind of it. I can understand that. As IMF, they aren't going out without a boom. Now starting to make that comeback against Sim Clan, but Sim Clan pretty far ahead.
Yeah, Zim actually have done a pretty good job of establishing themselves in the later part of this game. Ray continues to do well. MIT providing more than competent backup to the squad. That's showing us a good mix of different approaches. We've got Avenger there, breaking out the shred. The support will allow for any fallen teammates of the Zim Clan to respawn within the 15 meters. Very good at keeping your team out in the field, especially with those med kits as well. MIT charging down the stairs, but it's so very close as we come to the halfway mark.
You know what, kind of it? I feel like right here and right now, IMF and Sim Clan, this could very well go to a 5-game series, because Sim Clan and IMF, while Sim Clan are looking like the team just right here in the later stages of this first game, being more in control, IMF, they're not giving up. They are still saying, okay, we can do this, we can make that comeback, we can stay toe-to-toe with Sim Clan, and they're doing it fairly well, only behind by 2 kills. So I do feel like we could go to a very long series.
It's almost dead even. Yeah, at this point it's anybody's game to play, so if this is a taste of what the series has got in store for us, then I think you're right. Frenzy is building up their head of steam, but will fall down in these vital few remaining moments. Every movement, every kill is going to count. We can see Zim Clan stacking up towards the bottom of the map. Potentially could fall foul of a well-placed grenade. As I think IMF are actually going to end up going past, back, and around them. Now going face to face.
IMF, Sim Clan is coming down to the very end, but IMF, they will actually win out in the end with 3 kills in the lead. Congratulations to them. What a beautiful game, I must say, between these two teams. So very close towards the very late game here, but IMF, this is the quality of a top team being able to just pull it out at the moment that they, pull it off at the moment that they need to. They were able to close out the things and now put themselves with a 1-game lead. And that's exactly what they needed to do to start this series.
Praise definitely going to come through for both Frenzy and for Daxo. They're almost with exactly the same scoreline as each other. Real impressive stuff. Ray and MIT couldn't quite measure up as the two top players. Both teams, in fact, relying on those two top players to perform. We'll see what happens as we work our way towards the grand final game number 2. Don't go anywhere, for our grand finals is just getting started. Alright guys, we're back for our grand final game number 2 as IMF took the first victory. Wasn't by a mile, but it was by enough. Now a second victory will put them in a very commanding position, but it's way too close to call right now.
Yeah, they do have to get through SimClan, and SimClan, they looked pretty good in that last game. While they didn't look good in the start of the game, when we got into the later stage, once we got into 3 and 4 minutes being played, SimClan started to really show up, and they really started to put the boot down. And IMF, they had quite a task ahead of them. Now it's looking to be the same here between IMF and SimClan on the Museum, but IMF obviously still the team to go through. They are the highest seeded team, and IMF, they do have some strong players like MIT, like Jesse we've seen before, but these rookies haven't been in this situation before, and they are gonna have to go through IMF, a team with so much control over the way that they play.
Still though, with the first minute down and nearly 20 kills on the clock, we could be looking at a swift one as MIT takes a grenade and a melee kill in quick succession. But GG is there with that shred, spreading a destruction wherever they step. 3 kills separate. MIT with a nice double airstrike kill puts SimClan into the lead, again working extraordinarily hard to bring the team forward.
But it's very close, Counterfeit. Like you said, it's too close to call it and give it over to either team. It's 20-19, 21-20 immediately as I say that. This game is just swinging back and forth, and the two teams, they are so evenly matched that no one is really coming out ahead. And we could very well go down to the very last kill once again.
Man, yeah, we are. Well, now we've gotten 2 minutes in, both of the teams have nearly reached halfway as this final delivering so far in terms of raw speed. The way these teams are playing doesn't seem to be any thought to holding back in the slightest, just going full bore after each other. Of course, there's still strategy at play here, but there's a much heavier mix of full bore aggression than we're used to.
Two teams that are just going at each other like we saw on the first map, but this time it's just more bloodthirsty, and the two teams, they're not giving any room over to their opponents to just catch it back up. It's 33 to 33, and you know what, kind of thing, I feel like this is going down to the wire.
Yeah, it's, well, 3 minutes down, the two teams now within striking distance of hitting up to that 40 kill mark. So I don't think we probably get too much beyond the 3 minute remaining mark if things continue to head in this kind of direction. Daxi grabs 2 for the IMF squad. Could be crucial. So let's take a look and see. So you can kind of see from the IMF side of things, they're operating a mix of heavies and assaults with a little bit of sniper backup. The support exclusive to the Zim clan hasn't worked out necessarily super well so far. But oh no, I tell a lie actually, Gigi did change across that once the game has started. And it's also doing pretty decently.
Yeah, well, for IMF, however, what their setup is much better than SimClan's. Right here again in the late game, they're just running away with it. They're getting away with murder. And IMF, one more kill will do it, and they will be 2-0 up in this grand final. IMF looking unstoppable, even though SimClan is able to stand at their ground against them. IMF, they always come out ahead just when it matters.
Well guys, that means IMF are one step away from calling themselves our champions of the day. Can they do it? It all turns on this next game. MIT, I think, going to get, well, yeah, the strongest individual performance of that game. But the rest of Zim clan perhaps blinded by the clouds that MIT threw up around them. We'll see what happens. Game 3 beckons. Our grand final could be coming to a close. Welcome back, everybody. Our grand finals comes to a first of potentially 3 climaxes here, as IMF stand on the precipice of becoming our champions. But they're never as far away as they can be when they are right next to the throne. ZimClan have one more chance, then another to not only deny the throne to IMF, but take it for themselves.
I love the way that you explained that they have 3 chances if they are to win 3 games in a row, kind of it. They have another, and another, and yet another. It reminds me of the DJ Khaled meme. Anyway, let's get back into it.
He's always been my hero. I feel like you're pulling the curtain aside, dealers. Can't let people know I'm just saying the same thing over and over again, otherwise they'll start realizing.
Anyway, Peter, you are definitely a loyal guy. Let's get into IMF and... Oh, you haven't seen the meme? What? The DJ Khaled meme? You're smart, you're great, you're loyal? Anyway, I'll show you that afterwards. Right. ZimClan and IMF, counterfeit, they are still going toe-to-toe. More or less even right here. IMF just taking 1 kill in the lead, but ZimClan is never more than 1 kill behind.
Yeah, again, you know, it's going to be like so many series and so many other taunts before, that even if this does end up being a 3-0 IMF encounter, it's anything but a done deal when you're on the actual field of battle itself. ZimClan gonna dig down deep for this game. Avenger, gonna live up to their name. But MIT does get taken out of commission, is still leading the squad. And looking at overall, it's incredibly even between the 2 teams on the raw scoreboard presence.
Yeah, it really is. They are all putting in the work, and they all know that right here and right now is the do or die time. That's also why we're not seeing as many mistakes being made. IMF right now not making a single mistake. ZimClan not making a single mistake. It's just all comes down to these individual outplays and the mechanics of these teams.
Well, Dumbo, not just a flying elephant, but also pretty good with a sniper rifle. That's in the extended edition, dealers. I didn't know how to follow that one up because that felt a little inappropriate immediately. But MIT, he ain't no Dumbo. That imp being exceptional so far, and continues to pump out the points. ZimClan, I think if it's going to be from anywhere, it's going to be from an MIT overload performance that they survive.
Well, that could very well be the case, counterfeit. As we do see Daxi come in with a melee kill, but immediately MIT will pick up that kill. MIT 15 kills and 7 deaths. This guy is absolutely on fire, and he is keeping ZimClan afloat here in this series. But now 35 to 35, 36 to 35. IMF pulling themselves just a tiny sliver ahead, but it's not over yet, and we're coming down to again the very last kills.
Brutality. 3 minutes left to play. IMF and ZimClan, they don't need the time that's afforded to mere mortals, for we watch the clash of titans taking place here before your very eyes. MIT, can they do enough? Frenzy puts them down, takes out Avenger as well. Of course, with the changes to melee recently, you can't just spam it or it won't work out. Has to be exactly the right time and place. Frenzy doesn't quite match up to MIT in terms of raw power, but with Daxi able to put out enough numbers that MIT and the rest of ZimClan are in real trouble.
ZimClan are gonna fall down here to MIF. Obviously, we should never say never that they could make that comeback, but IMF 2 more kills, and they have always around the 40 kill mark just put in the last few the last amount of work that they needed and they have always come out ahead. IMF right here and right now. One more kill puts them at the match point. That's all they need, but SimClan, they're not making that mistake. Frenzy finds a kill, will actually get it, and immediately Dumbo will fold it up by dying. And that's going to be SimClan losing to IMF. 3-0 here in the grand final. What a victory from IMF. Coming out and showing that even though SimClan could stand their ground against IMF, then IMF, they had the qualities of a great team, and that they could stand their own ground and actually make sure to end out the games every time.
Impressive stuff. MIT and the rest of the Zim clan, nothing to be ashamed of there. As you said, while this may have ended out 3-0, they certainly gave IMF a very strong run for their money. MIT, I think, still going to quite cleanly take the MVP for that whole series. Extraordinarily well done. But that will be it for today, guys. We will be back in tomorrow with our monthly finals for both Red and Blue. If you haven't already, please do follow Modern Combat on the Facebooks, on the Twitters, on the YouTubes, on the Twitch, and on the Mob Crush. Dealers, where can the good folk of the stream find you if they were to look?
In Denmark.
Is it time for a pizza party?
No, well, if you want to find me on the social medias, go look up at Deedlesscast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. You can find me pretty much everywhere at Deedlesscasts.
Of course, the same sort of thing applies for my good self, Counterfeit
Wait,
Cast.
no, yeah, not Deedlesscasts.
What? I thought I was this whole time. I've been speaking in the third person. Well, shucks. Guys, as I said, we will be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock UK time for our first of our 2 monthly files. Of course, we'll be then following on with the 9 o'clock files in the same sort of fashion. But if you head across to the ESL page, you can see everything in your local time if you sign in and set your time zone. For now, thanks to Soldier Girl, our ESL admin for today, for all their hard work, and of course to all you gentle viewers who stuck with us all the way through to the end. We'll hopefully see you back here tomorrow for at least one of our finals, because they should be absolutely fantastic. See you guys then.